flow chart.
All right, let's suppose you had this. It's going to be number 40. This is on page 416, number 40. I suppose you had 18x cubed minus 63x squared plus 9x. All right. So on your test in 2 weeks, what would you do to this?
GCF first.
Okay, what's a GCF? 9x. And so you'd say 9x times what?
2x squared minus 7x plus 1.
Okay. You're done?
Nope.
And you want to see if you can factor this, right?
Easy.
Okay. Can you try and factor this?
One,
The two binomials?
Oh, that's how you're gonna do it?
Yeah, what'd you do?
I thought we were gonna do the AC method.
Oh, no, that's too simple. The AC method takes too long.
Okay.
Trial and error is quicker. What is it? Can you, huh? Come on, guys. Okay, 2xx.
And then we got -7x.
Taking you a long time.
It's been a while, we don't forgot.
1, 1. No, it can't because that last side's positive. You're done?
You gotta add the 9x to it.
Yeah, you have to check this.
Oh,
There's no way the outer end is going to be negative 7x. I don't have to see this.
as long as it's right.
Okay, so obviously that doesn't equal the -7x, so
No, so
I'd scratch that.
You cannot factor that. So this is the answer. All you could do there is take out the GCF. That's all you can do. All right.
I'll tell you what, well, it's gonna take a long time on the test if you gotta go through each one like that. You're sitting there trying to figure out if there is one and there isn't one, then.
7x
a lot of
squared.
time.
Professor, you better pack a lunch for that class. Y'all gonna be like, man, you taking way too long. We're trying to go home. We're gonna be like, we're trying to.
I'm not taking long. Y'all are taking long.
Yeah, the police gonna be trying
All
to
right.
run outside the building while we still
Okay.
take our test.
Okay.
What about this one?
GCF.
What's the GCF?
1.
1.
One.
So then it's a trinomial, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you go to two binomials. What do you want to try? Come on, guys. You're taking too long with this. 7x and x. First thing you should have said. Okay.
Yeah.
3y and 3y. All right. Now you got to check though. You got nowhere in here did we look at that 24xy. That's where the on the inner comes in. What's the outer?
21xy.
What's the inner?
3xy.
Do I get the 24?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So there's your answer. $48.
$64x cubed and plus 27. You got to get a GCF, which could be 9.
9 doesn't go into 64 evenly.
No.
Oh, wait, yeah, you're right. Sorry, I was thinking 63. Sorry.
4 doesn't go to
doesn't
27 evenly.
27.
It's the sum of two cubes. So you got to remember to factor the sum of two cubes, f cubed plus l cubed. Remember, it's a binomial times a trinomial. So it's f plus l times, and this is going to be f what? Do you remember? Okay, y'all need to practice on this. Y'all haven't been doing this. F squared minus fl plus l squared.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. Okay, so remember, next thing you want to do is rewrite each of those terms as something cubed. See if you can fill in these parentheses. What goes inside this parentheses?
4x,
What goes inside this one?
3.
So this is your F, this is your L. So now, the binomial part's easy. It's just F plus L. So it's 4x plus what?
3.
3.
That's what you put.
All right, now the trinomial. So I take the F. What's the F?
4.
4x. So F squared, remember, it's F times F. So it's 4x times 4x, which is what?
16x squared.
So that's my first term. Minus, then I take the F and the L and multiply them together. What's the F here?
4x.
What's the L?
3.
What do I get?
12x.
So that goes here. Plus, then I take the L squared. So that's L times L. What's L here?
3.
What's 3 times 3?
9.
So there's your answer. Remember that trinomial is prime. You can't do anything else to it. So once you factor the sum of two cubes, now that's assuming you took out the GCF first. Then you can't do anything else to this. That's prime.
Roger.
All right. Okay, let's look at number 60. Now you have 9 minus y squared. Say it again. That's not a sum. Difference of two squares.
Squares.
So remember the difference of two squares, f squared
Bring the sheet down a little bit.
f squared minus l squared is f minus l times f plus l. So just like with the previous one, oops, you want to see if you can fill in these parentheses. So what times itself twice is 9.
3.
What about y squared?
Y.
Okay. So what's the answer? This is my f, this is my l.
3 minus y
Times-
multiplied by 3 plus y.
Yep.
Can you put that one on the test?
No.
Man, I'm trying here, people. I'm trying.
Okay, let's look at 36. We have x squared y minus y cubed.
So,
what's a GCF?
y
So y times what?
x squared minus y squared. Squared. Sorry,
Okay.
almost said cube.
You're done?
No. Because you could factor that in because you got the
What do you notice about x squared minus y squared?
it's 2 squares.
You're not saying the right words.
The difference of two squares.
Difference of two squares. So it's the x minus y times what?
X plus Y.
That goes here. Mhm. Um, okay, 66. 12x squared plus 46xy minus 8y squared. Okay, what's GCF?
4.
No, because 4 would be going into 46, right?
2 times
6x squared plus 23xy minus 4y squared.
Okay, you're done?
No.
No.
Just like the one we did earlier, you guys see if you can factor this. So let's go to the side. Two binomials. What do you want to try? Okay, 3x, 2x.
Can't try 2 and 2.
You cannot try 2 and 2. Very good, because you see why she said that, right?
Yeah, because it would be, you'd be able to factor it out again.
That's
if
right.
you use two.
So if you use 4 and 1, where must the 4 go?
First one,
Yes, and the 1 must go
there.
here. And it's really for what?
Eh,
Y.
Y, sorry.
Okay. Last sign's negative, so that means these signs are different. So let's figure out what they are after we look at the outer and the inner. What's the outer?
3xy.
3xy. What's the inner?
8xy.
I'm subtracting, right?
Yeah.
Not adding, I'm subtracting because these are what? Different signs. Am I ever going to get 23?
No.
No.
No possible way.
So that means I may want to change to 6. What do you want to try?
6 and 1.
6 and 1. So 6y, I'm sorry, x. All right. Now what do you want to try for 4y? You still want to do the 2 and the 2, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so it's gotta be 4-1.
It's got to be 4, 1.
And the 4 goes in the last one.
Yeah, you can't put the 4 here because that means you could take out a 2.
Right.
Mhm.
So it has to go here. And that's 4y, and this has to be y.
Y.
Okay, last sign is negative. These signs are different. So let's look at the outer.
24
24.
And
Inner?
then we have xy.
And when I subtract them, I do get 23. But what kind of 23?
A positive.
So that means the 24 has to be,
Positive.
Positive.
the xy has to be.
Negative.
So in order for the 24 xy to be positive, this has to be,
Positive.
this has to be.
Negative.
Okay. All right. So what's the answer?
2, parentheses, and then 6x minus y, and then, yeah, x is 4y.
All right. 66. All right. Let's look at 56. All right, 56, you had 4x to the 4th y minus 8x cubed y and minus 60 x squared y.
Definitely a GCF, and that could be 4 squared that you could get the GCF.
4
4x squared.
x squared
Yes, sir.
y,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's because they all have y's.
4x squared y.
Mm-hmm.
X squared, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's the smallest exponent's 2 here.
All right, so 4
Times what?
squared y multiplied by
X
X squared minus 2x.
Not xy, just 2x.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because we have the y already.
Y.
Minus
Minus,
15. Or, no,
Yeah.
sorry.
Not 15.
not 15.
What's 6 divided by 4?
Oh,
15? Okay.
15. It is 15.
15 what?
Yeah,
It's
just
15.
15.
Just, that's it.
Okay, now you gotta see if you can factor this.
Yeah, definitely
XX.
an X.
3 and 5.
3 and 5. Last sign's negative. These signs in here are different.
So,
5x,
and then
3x, and when I subtract them, I do get, 2x.
2x.
but I need it to be negative 2x. That means a 5 has to be,
Negative.
and this has to be positive. So that means this has to be,
Negative.
Negative.
this has to be.
Positive.
So what's the answer?
4x squared y, and then
Multiplied by x
X
plus
plus
3
3.
multiplied by x minus 5.
All right, number 30. 28 minus 13x minus 6x squared.
Okay, we gotta rearrange.
Well, okay, so he's thinking about putting in descending order. The problem is you put in descending order, what's going to be the coefficient of x squared? Negative or positive?
Negative.
It'll be negative.
Yeah,
So you really want to leave it like it is.
okay.
Just leave it like it is. So just, what's your GCF though?
1.
1, yeah, because 13 is a prime number.
Okay, what do we try for 28?
You could, yeah,
7, 4?
4.
Okay, what about 6x squared?
2 and 3.
2.
Or if you do the 2, can I put the 2 here?
No.
So it has to be,
Here.
it's got to be 2 what though?
X.
X, and this has to be
3x.
3x. Last sign's negative. These signs are different. So let's look at the outer. What's the outer?
21x.
What's the inner?
8x.
When I subtract them, do I get 13?
Yes, sir.
Yes. But I need the 13 to be,
Negative.
so which means this is negative, this is
Positive.
positive. So that means this has to be
Negative.
this has to be
Positive.
positive. So there's your answer. All right.
It's just, obviously, I know why you said, look, if you change the order, it would make that a negative 6x. It just,
It's harder if you put in descending order.
well, yeah, because it makes it a negative and you have to change up. the
Yeah,
whole way.
so it's hard if you do this because you can have a negative 3x and a positive 2x. So it's a little bit more difficult if you have the x squared be a negative. And you can't just change the signs because that's not an equation. So you just have to be careful. I would just leave it like this. All right, 88. Thank you. All right, so you have 216y cubed minus z cubed. Okay.
Bless you.
All right, so-
Rhinovirus.
Now you were sick the other day. Next time you're sick, you're sitting in the back. Okay, so what times itself 3 times is 216? 6? 6 times 6 times 6 is 216? Y'all checked it? Okay, 6 what? Okay, and z cubed, that's just what? Okay, so there's your F, there's your L. And so remember that is this right here.
Okay.
Oops, sorry. Okay, so all we did was the sum, right? Okay, so here's the formula for difference of 2 cubes. So remember, it's a binomial times a trinomial, so it'll be F. Do you remember what it is? Okay, what's the first term here?
F
And this has to be
plus.
plus FL and then plus L squared. All right. So the binomial is easy. It's just F minus L. So what do I write?
6y minus z.
All right. Now, the trinomial. So I take the F squared. I got to find what F squared is. Yeah, so it's 6y times itself, right? Just 36y squared. Plus, all right, so then I take the F and the L, multiply them together. So F is 6y, and then L is z, so that's just what?
6yz.
6yz. And then plus L squared. So L is z, so that means z times z, which is
Z squared.
z squared. So there's your answer.
Get you some Mucinex. It works. Do it to get rid of that.
Make after hours works. And give them cortisone shot plus a prescription, and you're done. All right. Let's see. Let's do 64. So you have 4x squared minus 2xy minus 7yz plus 14xz.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Factor by grouping.
Factor by grouping. Okay, what about the first group?
2x,
So you remember you have 4 terms, you do the grouping.
Yep.
2x times what?
2x
2x,
minus y.
Okay, hopefully in this parentheses here, I'm going to have also what?
2x
2x
minus
minus
y.
y.
Okay, what can I factor out here?
7z.
Be careful.
Negative.
Negative, the middle sign.
7z,
Times?
y, plus,
Minus
minus, okay. Yeah.
2x.
Okay, so here's where we at, right? So that goes back to that worksheet y'all turned in, the one where you have to change the order,
Mhm.
because those parentheses aren't exactly the same.
No.
See it? All right, but they're almost the same.
You
They
flip,
differ by a sign, correct?
so you put the 14x.
So what that would mean is that, see right here, just do what to these two?
Flip them.
Switch them. So in other words, I'm going to rewrite this
4x,
and say what here?
plus 14xz minus 7yz.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
And still do the factoring by grouping.
yeah. So this is going to be,
2x, and then 2x minus y.
all right, now notice what happens here now. I'm going to take out a what here?
Uh, 7.
This
7z still, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Except instead of a negative, taking out a
positive.
positive. And then 7z times what?
2x
2x
minus y.
minus y. And that's what you wanted.
Mhm.
So what's the answer?
2x plus 7z.
2x minus y
Oh, you
Times
Multiplied by 2x
x plus
7z.
7z. Now, if you put 2x plus 7z first, it's still correct.
Yeah, and that's usually how I want to do it.
All right, so notice we have to switch the order because these weren't exactly the same. So that goes back to that worksheet where you have to rearrange terms. All right, and then number 50. So one of the worksheets you have to take out a negative factor. So look at 50. You have negative x squared
Pull the page down a little bit.
plus 6x minus 8. Now, and then it can go back to what we did here. See this right here? We'll come back and look at this one also. But you see how it's written?
Mhm.
And having that x squared have a negative coefficient is not easy to deal with. So remember,
You'll put
on one of the
squares
worksheets, you were asked to factor out a negative 1.
in. Mhm.
Okay, so when you did that, you should have said negative 1 times what?
X
X squared.
X squared
Okay.
minus 6x plus 8.
plus 8. Then you factored x squared minus 6x plus 8. Okay, so it's going to work.
Well, you're going to have your x and then
4 and 2.
4 and 2. Last sign's positive, means these signs are the same, and what are they?
Negative.
And you do get the 6, right? Negative 2x, negative 4x, so you get negative 6x. So what's the answer?
-1.
Okay, negative 1,
X minus 4.
x minus 4,
X minus 2.
x minus 2. So there's a worksheet that you had to do where there were 2 problems like that, and it told you to take out the negative 1. So if you go back to the one that we did here, remember this one?
Mhm.
Where you wrote this,
Right.
we kept like this. If you put this, you could kind of do the same thing. Watch. This is 30. And remember he said earlier, put in descending order? That's fine. Let's see what happens. All right, so if you do that, you could take out a negative 1.
Mhm.
So if I take out a negative 1, what do I get?
times 6x squared plus 13x minus 28.
Okay? And then let's factor this 6x squared plus 13x minus 28.
2 and 3. X.
All right, and what do you use for 28? 7, 4?
74.
Okay, so the 4 had to go here, 7 here. Last sign's negative, so these are different.
Okay.
So this is 8x, this is,
21 X.
and when you subtract them, you get 13, but I need the 13 to be what?
Positive.
Positive. When we did it here,
So it
the
means
13 had to
21
be
has to be positive.
negative, remember that?
That's 21's positive.
So this has to be,
Negative.
this has to be,
Positive.
so your answer would be -1 times,
2x plus 7, 3x minus 4.
all right, so that would be fine. Now, if you did it the other way, where you kept it as it looked, it was, you see this is 2x plus 7?
Mm-hmm.
This is 2x plus 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only difference was instead of saying 3x minus 4, this said what?
4 minus
4 minus 3x. So basically, if you take this -1, multiply by 3x, what do you get?
negative 3x.
That's this. Take -1, multiply by -4, what do you get? Positive 4. All right. So it's the same answer. Well, you factored it. It's just that here you took out a -1 first, and here you didn't. All right, let's try. All right, let's try this. Okay, so this is going to be 74, and then use the AC method. So you have 7x squared plus 19x minus 6. All right, so on the test, if it says use the AC method, I expect you to use the AC method. So I'm going to have something like AC equal blank, B equal blank. So what's AC?
Negative 42.
Right, so remember, this is your A. A is what here?
7.
B is,
Negative.
and C is? So you multiply A and C, so that's negative 42.
Mm-hmm.
And then B is,
19.
all right, so that means you want the product to be this, and you want the sum to be this. All right, so in a T table, so you want the product to be negative 42, and you want the sum to be 19. So then you have to come up with two numbers whose product is negative 42, and whose sum is 19.
2 times 21 is 2 and 21 are your two numbers.
Okay. All right. So one has to be negative, though, right?
The 2
Okay.
has to be negative.
The 2 has to be negative. You understand that? See, if you put the 2 positive and the
End up being,
21 negative,
Negative 19.
that would be a negative 19.
no, we don't want
But you want a positive 19. So this has to be what kind of 2?
Negative 2.
negative 2.
And a positive 21. So you do get the product to be negative 42, and you do get the sum to be a
Positive
19. So that's the one you're going to use. Once you figure out the two numbers you're going to use, what's the next thing you're going to do?
So it's 7.
Rewrite which one?
7x
Which
squared.
which term are you going to rewrite?
The middle term.
Middle
Okay.
term.
So 7x squared.
And then
Does it matter which one you put
plus
first?
20 plus 21
You want to put the 21 with it?
minus 2.
Minus 2x,
Minus.
right?
Yeah, 2x.
2x minus 6.
All right, you got to make sure you have those x's here. Don't just say plus 21 minus 2. It's got to be plus 21x
Right.
minus 2x.
That'd just be lazy.
Now you group. 7x
7x.
times x plus 3. Right here, what can you take out? Negative 2 times
X plus 3.
x plus 3. If you're doing it correctly, these two better be the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it is. So what's the answer?
X
7x
plus 3 multiplied by 7x minus 2.
All right.
Or vice versa.
Okay. All right. Any questions? All right. So on